So this is a drive shaft off the 1995 M3. It has this CV joint, 6 bolts at the differential end. This is the Guibo end here. And there's a lot of, not a lot of confusion, but some confusion about separating the two halves because this does not look like what's in the Bentley manual with this sleeve and this large nut. So the way to remove this, the two halves from this type of drive shaft, is to loosen that bolt. And it's a little nerve-wracking because I guess there's a lot of Loctite on it, and until now I was concerned that what I was doing was damaging something because I kept having to apply pressure and it didn't loosen. So some people do this on the car. I took the whole drive shaft off and I've been using a wrench on here. I've screwed the center support bearing into the ground, and then I've tacked a lever arm onto the Guibo. You could obviously do that a lot better by cutting a hole in the piece of wood, but this is working fine. I didn't have a large enough drill bit or a hole saw on hand. And I am applying force. The wrench is on the ground, and then I'm applying force like so, and you can make, I don't know, the 1/6 of a revolution before the wrench hits the U-joint. And just to make sure I was doing it the right way, I kept using a bolt to make sure that I was applying pressure in the right direction. It is counterclockwise from this lever arm end, so that means that the bolt is threaded normally. And now that I've done it maybe, I don't know, 10-15 times, which was kind of scary, you can see I am developing some space between the U-joint and the bolt, which is what I wanted. But I had to apply pressure many times, and I've done this before with like a large lever arm, and it turns out I was turning the bolt the wrong way. Very novice mistake, and it was actually just stretching the bolt, and I thought it was Loctite. But those two situations can feel somewhat similar. So I was concerned that I was being stupid again. But anyway, good luck. So now that the bolt has loosened up a little bit, you can work it with a wrench, and it feels like a bolt should. If I can find a spot. It's never going to spin freely though. It's still got some thread lock on there, but you can see the play in the joint developing. 18 mil. So if you have an 18 mil ratcheting wrench, that would speed things up. Make sure to mark your drive shaft because it's balanced. I didn't know where it was going to separate, so I marked the whole damn thing. It separates at the bearing. This U-joint stays attached. Obviously, I guess in retrospect that should have been pretty obvious, but I was under the car. I didn't want to take any chances. So from here to there. There's the bolt with a substantial washer. It's grade 8. And here's the center support bearing dust cap. And there's the splines on the inside of the U-joint. So you do want to make your marks pretty accurate, because there are quite a few teeth on there. That's how mine goes back together. If I had it off by a tooth, it would look like like that. Another reason why the big marks are nice is because while cleaning, it's pretty easy to accidentally rub off your other one, even if you were thinking about it. So I'm glad I had this all the way down the shaft. Another thing that's nice is you can use gloves to protect this kind of situation. So I have all these seals that are, I don't know what they really are, but there's all of these little plastic rings around the edge of the joint here. They've all broken and fallen out. And I don't think there's any way this joint is serviceable. The other thing that's unusual is that this feels intentional, is that there's a center point. So it'll click right there. I don't know if you could see that. And then the same, the other axis too. I'm trying to determine if there's any wear to this. It feels tight enough. There's no way I can replicate the kind of forces that a drivetrain would. Also trying to evaluate how much, damage to the paint is going on, and definitely lost a bunch, but not showing any significant rust. So I'm gonna leave it alone rather than try to refinish this and get a bunch of paint in the joint or something stupid.